Clearly, some conspiracy theories sound more like the plot of a slightly dodgy Jeffrey Archer novel. But there are those that would seem to have more credibility, and in particular, the ones that the government have so far failed to answer. But is it really possible that any of them could be true?
Government secrecy breeds conspiracy theories.
They're forced to rely on a sparsity of information and to speculate from that sparsity of information.
It creates a breeding ground for people to come up with alternative explanations and to disbelieve government across the board.
It almost works like a sport where people try to come up with the craziest or the most inventive or the most clever explanation for something.
Let's take you back to the Pentagon, where American Airlines Flight 77 crashed into the country's most heavily defended building. Conspiracy theorists claim it was a missile that struck the building and not a plane.
A local news reporter was sent to the Pentagon after the second tower was hit, feeling that there would be some sort of a statement from the Pentagon, and on the way encountered a woman pulled to the side of the road, standing as if in shock, unable to speak, got out of the car to help her, was pointed to the far side of her car, and saw that a part of the car was sheared off and a piece of the landing gear was sitting next to it.
There were Arlington, Virginia policemen that followed that plane down one of the busiest streets in the county when it was vectoring for its impact on the Pentagon. They followed that plane down Columbia Pike, which is a beeline for the Pentagon. They saw it hit the building because they were wondering what's wrong with this aircraft.
So that seems to confirm that the plane actually hit the building. But what about the mysteriously small hole?
There's also the question of the hole, is it large enough? Well, this is a reinforced building with multiple layers, multiple walls. The plane rammed into it directly. Most airline crashes don't leave a lot of debris. Most of the debris is pulverized.
Then there's the collapse of the Twin Towers. Theorists claim the impact of the planes alone was not sufficient to bring the buildings down.
You don't need that extra bomb to bring the building down, as engineers have pointed out in the aftermath of the disaster. The crash of the planes and the ensuing fire would have been enough to bring the buildings down.
I also read things that said that the building was structured with central core girders in order to collapse that way and not fall over if it did come to damage.
Finally, the mystery about Flight 93 that crashed in Pennsylvania. Many theorists claim it was actually shot down by members of the US Air Force.
There's no definitive evidence or no explicitly persuasive evidence that the flight over Pennsylvania was shot down, but there are a few interesting, eyewitness reports of other aircraft seen in the area, smoke and debris falling from the plane that might suggest that something else happened there. It's an open question right now. I think these questions need to be answered by the official committees looking into the 9/11 disasters. So far they haven't, and I think that's a problem.
No number of official committees will ever satisfy the serial skeptics, determined to doubt whatever officialdom tells them. The best conspiracy theories are just that, theories. They can't be proved or disproved. What they have in common is that they come with a confetti of claims and accusations, and none more so than the theories surrounding 9/11.
It's clear that there are loose threads when it comes to 9/11, and the skeptics obviously want answers. But as with any conspiracy theory, it seems the more questions you ask, the more unanswerable questions you raise. So it's easy to see how things can quickly get out of control. But then, maybe that's just my mind chip talking. Good night.
A family gets stalked by a gang of psychotic cannibals in the desert next, and the lucky ones die first. The Hills of Eyes, unmissable over on Sky Movies. Meanwhile, here on Sky 3, footballing stalwart Ron Atkinson tries to turn around the fortunes of Peterborough United. He is big Ron manager.